Hey guys, this is Adrian from PDC coming at you with yet another video. Sorry guys, this was a couple days late. I'm actually re-recording this video because I feel like now I have a much better insight onto Sakazuki. I've been practice spamming the last couple days, and I think this is a crazy cool matchup. Sakazuki OP05 versus OP01 Zoro. So yeah, let's just get right into it, and yeah, tons more content coming up. So yeah, let's speed through. So as you guys can see, I fixed the camera now so you guys can actually see the entire video. This is a pretty interesting matchup. I don't think it's as one-sided as people might think. Sakazuki is the best deck in format, but because it's the B diff, there's a lot of decks that are made specifically to counter Saka, and Zoro is one of them. Zoro has the ability to be hyper aggressive and rush down the enemy before they're able to, get to their late game setup. Sakazuki being a 4 life leader definitely makes him susceptible, especially since most Saka decks run anywhere from 8 to 10 2k counters without any event counters. So Zoro could very much rush Sakazuki down before he's able to set up a good board and set up lethal. So yeah, I mean, honestly, the matchup is still Saka favored. I think that if Saka sees about 2 Luchis, then it's really hard for Saka to win. Sorry, that screen got me all like, what happened? But yeah, I think Zoro decks now are, I initially I thought Zoro decks was cope, but it's definitely not cope. Zoro decks are now in OP05 much more hyper aggressive, right? There's no need to set up board. I think their playstyle is actually completely different now. Zoros in 05 are just Rambo compared to 04, right? In 04, they used to set up the weenies and then get to a wide board and then just swing at you all at once, and you wouldn't be able to deal with it. Now, Zoro doesn't even care about that, right? They're going to play those 2k counter Brooks, and swing for 7, right? Turn 2, swing tall, swing wide, swing as fast as you can, as much as you can. Being 7k, Sakazuki, ends up taking it. Yep. And he chooses to, that's an interesting trigger. Great Eruption is pretty useless in this matchup, so he chose to activate the trigger, which is the enemy has to discard 1 card from their hand. So not too bad. It's a trade-off. So he's hoping to basically reduce Zoro's number of resources on board. So I get that, I understand. But for me, I think that would be a great cycle target. Basically pitching a card using Saka's leader ability and drawing 1. So Saka swings for 5 here. Looking at his board, I think he's going to use Lucci to blow up the Brook, but I could be wrong here. Or he could set up a Borsellino to just develop his board. Yes, and that's exactly what he does. Honestly, guys, I think that turn 2 Borsellino is a really, really strong power play from Saka, especially in the purple Luffy matchup and a lot of other matchups. You can almost never go wrong playing Borsellino just because it's 6k indestructible blocker for just 4 cost. Yeah. So looking at Zoro's hand, I think he's got a lot of tools to get this game under the wraps, right? 2 rush Luffy's, 1 rush Zoro. He's got, I think that is a Radical Beam, so that's kind of useless here. But he's got another Brook that he's probably gonna play. And let's see, 5 Dawn and a Dream. Playing that Zoro, swinging 7k into Saka. Saka has to take it. Think he could have blocked and used the 2k if he had it, but I don't think he has enough counters. That's the one thing about Sakazuki, guys, is that Sakazuki really has very little defense. He's relying on the blockers that he's playing, the Rebekahs, the Sabos, the Borsellinos. If you can rush down Sakazuki, then before he's able to Luchi and blow up your board, you do have a chance to win. So another 5k swing coming at Zoro. I think right now he's really just looking to whittle down at Zoro's hand, right? Because it's going to take a while before he's able to set up lethal. So he swings at the character Zoro, and there's no point defending it, right? Because Saka's going to blow it up anyway, so he lets it go. Essentially, that was a -1 for a 7k swing at life. Brand new's played for the Searcher, 2 Great Eruptions. Unfortunately, Great Eruption is pretty useless in this matchup. Oh, but he gets to search out the Hina. By the way, guys, Hina is a really good card, but it's a good cycle target. But at the same time, you know, I think that Hinas can also be kept in hand, just because if you play Rebecca, you can grab something you want, maybe a Lucci from your graveyard, and then play the Hina from your hand. So it's not that dead of a card in hand. It just really depends on the situation. So yeah, this is pretty rough for Zoro now, right? 2 Borsalinos being played and a pass turn. So Saka's definitely set up his wall, right? Now he gets to choose when to block and when to keep his units on board. From Zoro's side, right, he needs to swing a little bit taller just so that just for the chance for the attack to go through. So it messes with the calculations a lot. I'd say Saka is in a really good spot. You know, we talk a lot about win conditions now. Like, I think the game's gone optimized to the point where players are looking for their lethal setup in their late game situations, and I think for Sakazuki, 2 Borsalinos on board is definitely one of them, right? That's exactly what you want to see in the NL matchup. Yeah, it's really interesting. I think Sakazuki's a really fun leader, very intricate, and a lot more complex than I thought. Before I played it, I thought it was just gonna be best deck in format, hands down. It's just broken, but it does require some skill to pilot. Here we go. So another Brook is played, and basically Zoro gets a free 7k swing. He decides to Saka blocks and pitches a 2k counter into Shigi. Alright, so 4 cost, 4 Dawn left to go. Let's see what he's gonna do with it. I'm surprised the initial Brook has stuck on board for so long. I don't think that those Brooks have a long enough shelf life, so he could. I could see a world where he just swings really tall with Brook. Right? There's not much he can do with his hand. If he plays Sanji, it's just gonna get popped right away. I think he swings hard with Brook. Yeah, there we go. So a 6k swing with his Zoro leader effect. And now he's gonna have to pitch a counter. He's gonna block and pitch a Sabo. And oh, he plays the Sanji. Alright. If we look back and analyze this game, there could be a world where Sanji takes that leader, takes that life with his ability, just because I don't think Sanji is definitely not going to survive, right? I think by playing the Sanji, Zoro is saying, I'm calling your bluff. I'm gonna bet on the fact that you do not have Lucci. Unfortunately, we know that Sakazuki has been saving Lucci for this point, so it's gonna, after this turn, it's gonna look really rough. But yeah, Saka swings into Brook. Brook obviously goes away. Plays Hina with his 3 cost, just because he has free Dawn and just starts building the board. I think Hina is a really good card. Right now, Saga decks are deciding between playing the blue Hina, which draws a card if you have 5 cards or less in your hand, or playing the ulti, which bottom decks a 2 cost or below. I've been testing out both variations, and I don't have a definitive answer yet, but hopefully next week after regionals, I'll be able to. Once I try to top and get that Zero Luffy. Yeah, so Sakazuki, as expected, swings with leader, use leader ability to -1 cost to the board, and so it sets up for the Lucci and just pops both the cards, but specifically popping that Sanji, which would be really scary with a free 7 to 8k swing into the next turn. honestly, like, if as a Zoro player, if you know that the other person doesn't have Lucci, I would just play Sanji, right? If they don't have Lucci, they don't have Hellhound, that Sanji is probably gonna win you the game. But at this point, you know, the board is full. You know, there's no way Zoro can answer it. I think now he's on the back foot. There's about 2 life left, and so Zoro needs to sneak. In order to win, Zoro basically needs to sneak and attack through. I don't think that Saka will allow him to do that. But you could also do 2 Luffy swings, because that's unblockable and it gets past the blocker. And you could do Diable Jambe, and that would win you the game. So 6k swing. Sakazuki, you know, smartly blocks it and pitches a 1k counter. Okay, Nami's getting played. Great. So, yeah, I think from Saka's side, right, there's no more need to save cards in his hand because he's already developed a full board. Basically, that board is going to set up the lethal turn against Zoro, and so all you need to do is keep a healthy life state and then just keep swinging against Zoro, right? Unless Zoro has 1 Dawn up, there's not really even need to swing for 7 sometimes. You could swing 6 and start baiting out to 2Ks. You can swing 5. There's a lot of way to do this. As long as you keep 1 Borsalino up, you should be good to go. So I think that's exactly what Sakazuki will do, right? Again, playing double Borsalino early on is a very winning hand, winning game state for Sakazuki. So yeah, let's while we're at this, let's look at Zoro's hand. Okay, he ends up playing the Rush Luffy, and he's gonna probably put both Dawn, right? Double Dawn onto Luffy, swinging for a 9k. Very little response from Saka, and he ends up taking. So now we're at 1 life. So in Zoro's hand, he should have 1 more Luffy and a Rad Beam, and then a Robin and something else. Double Hellhound, a Kuzan, a Rebecca, and a Great Eruption from Saka's side. So at this point in time, I think, you know, this is where the Great Eruptions and the Hellhounds should start being used and also start being cycled. Just because there's not much of a threat anymore with, you know, Zoro's. I think now that he's countered out the Lucci swing, he has 3 cards in hand. There's very little Zoro will be playing, and so Saka should be building up as many counters as possible. All right, so I think Sakazuki is playing very, very smart here. He's just swinging board first. Again, it's gonna take a couple, like 2 turns to set up lethal anyway. So what you want to do is either, you know, starve Zoro out of all of his resources, his hand, his board, and then start swinging. So yeah, this is really good. I mean, yeah, obviously it's really good, but I do like how Sakazuki is playing. It's very solid. So 5k swing right there. I'm surprised he's not using his Hellhounds and Great Eruptions. Okay, Rebecca. Oh, Rebecca's getting rid of his Lucci and then picking it up. Ah, I see. So there we go. All right. So Rebecca basically discarded Lucci and then used Rebecca to recycle Lucci, and then played Lucci again just so that he could get rid of those pesky Namis. So I think this was a little bit of an inefficient turn from Saka. I would have preferred to use Great Eruption, or just the Hellhounds to swing 7s, and then or just cycle through. I don't think those Namis are that big of a threat, but you know, this was fine as well. You know, clearing the board, setting up for next turn lethal. I really don't think that there's too much wrong Saka can do it at this point. It's looking pretty dire, right? Saka just has to make sure he doesn't get down to 0 life, which he does now. So now it's a little bit scary. 9k swing from Zoro's side, very, very good. I think a Diable Jambe into life will essentially win the game. And so I'm curious, what is Sakazuki gonna do here? Here's the thing, is that it almost seems like he has to, it almost feels like he has to win this turn, because if the other player has Hellhound, there's absolutely no chance Zoro's not gonna win this. I don't see how Saka is gonna survive this. Okay, he cycles, so now he has 5k encounters, right? Two Surus and one Borsellino. If he does one Diable Jambe, that's a 14k swing. So he would need 5k more encounters, which it's not possible at this moment. So let's see. With 2 Dawn up, you can't really KO Zoro this turn. So I wonder. Yeah, this is not looking too good now. I would have liked the previous turn if Sakazuki was a little bit more efficient with his cards. I feel like they could have gotten rid of both the Namis, the Luffys, and also get Zoro down to a lethal state with like 1 or 2 life, and then be able to finish him off this turn. Okay, so swing 5 at life. Let's see. I think from Sakazuki's side, there's not much he can do to a Diable Jambe. If he has it, he has it. So, you know, that's why I think Zoro is actually pretty viable into this 05 meta, is that the matchup against Sakazuki is not too bad. You know, even against a Lucci, I think in this game Sakazuki Lucci'd twice. Once when it was played, and another time when it was forcefully recycled. And Zoro's still in the game, right? Getting Sakazuki down to 0 life. And that's pretty strong. So we know in Zoro's hand he doesn't have that Diable Jambe. He has the Event Searcher, I think, which only locks you to the character. So, okay, Great Eruption, drawing a card. Also getting that Luffy down to 2 cost, and now Hellhound or Houndblaze comes out, bottom decks the Luffy, buffs the Hina. Hina is now at 7,000. 7k swing. Zoro's gonna take it. Right now he's searching for that Diable Jambe in life. What does he draw here? If I was Saka, I'd be very careful with these triggers, right? If you so Borsellino's really OP, really broken, but he's still susceptible to he's only indestructible on your opponent's turn. So if you swing into red, you know, hit a Jet Pistol trigger, your Borsellino is gone. So I'm surprised he's not playing around it. A 7k swing. I wonder if Sakazuki's thinking about going for game here. I think he's thinking, but the 2 Dawn up really makes things difficult. Okay, it looks like Zoro doesn't have Diable Jambe. Otherwise, it's just GG's. Yeah, I think. Okay, a Dadan, a Nami, or a Dadan. So I think he could Dadan into Nami, or he could use the event into Nami, and then Nami into the Diable Jambe. Alright, so I think Saka makes a good decision. He's just going to keep cycling through his deck. Alright. He's feeling a little bit safe now, right? It's basically 7k counters. This turn alone, he was able to cycle and basically draw a Suru and a Tashigi, along with the extra 3k counters in hand. So he's feeling a little bit safer, right? Obviously, if Diablo Jambe comes online, you just lose. But even against, I would say, another Rush Luffy, that's 11,000, right? Yeah, he's able to defend against the full resource swing Rush Luffy. I think the Zoro player doesn't know this. So there's still a chance here. If he's able to search into the Nami and Nami into Diablo Jambe, Zoro wins the game. Alright, here we go. Search. 5 cards. If Diablo Jambe is here, then he loses too. Oh, he gets the Nami. Alright. He's like, alright, that's step 1. Step 2. Play the Nami. The 5 cards of Destiny. Deals Diablo Jambe. And he gets the Rush Luffy. Alright, so I think he's going to go for it. This wasn't that bad of a search. But unfortunately, he doesn't know that his opponent pulled the nuts this game. And so, you know, we're going to see this a lot in OP05. If your opponent has the nuts, right? Like Purple Luffy with the turn 2 on curve Magellan into Polly, into Kaido. NL, you know, with like 4 Yamas and a bunch of triggers. Katakuri with, you know, all their triggers. If a deck has the nuts, you are not going to be able to beat it, right? That's the name of the game in 05. Okay, and the full 9k swing goes in, and Sakazuki ends up defending it with a 5k encounters, and this is it. No Dawn up. Sakazuki has 5 swings to go, and this is it. I think at this point, what you do, you just swing for 7. Yep, swings for 7. Counter out. I do really respect the fact that Japanese players, they play the game out and they're really respectful. They play it till the end. You know, if I know, like, this is championship, right? So emotions are really high. You know, you're about to lose the game, but you know, props to both players. You know, I think very, very professional. Yeah, 2 cards left in hand. Not too much to do here. Another 7 swing. He's gonna take that, and at this point, it's a 10k swing, and that's all she wrote. Oh, he's gonna Hound Blaze just for the extra 9k, and 11k swing, the maximum possible number of counters, and that's it. That was a good game. I think when we were when me and my friends were watching this particular video, we actually thought the Zoro made a mistake here, but it seems like Zoro pulled out all stops and had a decent hand. Didn't end up converting, but that's okay. This is probably a 55-45 favor towards Sakazuki. So yeah, great game, guys. We're gonna do a lot of really cool stuff, right? OP05 is coming very soon, in 2 days. Really excited for that. I have a case coming express, arriving tomorrow, so I might, you know, just stream the opening for that. Let us know what matchups, what lines you want us to cover, and we'll take a look. We'll review it. I have a bunch of really cool playable decks. You know, obviously, the top 3 meta will be Saka, NL, Purple Luffy, Katakuri in there as well. But I also want to cover a lot of other really, really fun decks that are not in the tier 1 meta, but very playable, right? Like my personal favorites, Ace, Ivankov, but yeah, lots of fun stuff. So I'll see you guys soon. Rapid fire videos coming to you. Peace out.